I hear from so many families who are scared to start sleep training because they're worried about waking up other kids in the house. Well, whether your kids share a room or share a wall, I'm going to show you 3 ways to solve this problem because everyone in your family deserves great sleep. I see this all the time. Families who have one child that sleeps well and then a toddler that doesn't, and they just suffer through the nights with a sleepless toddler because they're so terrified of waking up the other child. I totally get that. The last thing that you want is to have a nuclear meltdown with your toddler going on at bedtime right outside the baby's door. And you certainly don't want all of your kids being woken up in the middle of the night. So you do whatever you need to do to keep your sleepless toddler calm and quiet throughout the night, whether that means you just sleep with them in their bed, or maybe you pull them into your bed, even though that's not what you really want to be doing. Or maybe you're taking multiple trips every night into their room just to go sit with them until they fall asleep. But what you might have learned the hard way by now is that when you do this, your sleepless kids' sleep habits, they just get worse and worse because they end up becoming more and more reliant on you and your help to get to sleep. The truth is that all of your kids should be able to fall asleep easily and sleep all through the night without needing any help from you. So I'm going to show you 3 ways to protect your good sleepers' sleep so that you can have the confidence and the courage to fix your bad sleepers' sleep habits. The first thing I recommend is building what I call a sound bubble. Now, I actually recommend this for all kids because it's a great way to just buffer out some of the general household noise that can disturb kids' sleep. But especially if you're going to work on sleep training, this is a great idea. But the best tool to use is a white noise machine. And white noise machines can be sold individually, or some toddler clocks come with noise built in. I've got a few recommendations in my Amazon store that I will link down below. So you want to make sure that your sound machine is set to white noise. And when I say white noise, it should really sound like a static radio station. You want to avoid the sounds. Some of them have ocean waves or rain hitting a roof. You want to avoid anything that has any kind of discernible pattern because there actually is some research to show that your brain will follow along subconsciously with those patterns and not fall into as deep of a sleep. So set it to white noise and turn it up. Now, if your kids' rooms share a wall, you can add 2 white noise machines into the good sleepers' room, one by the wall and then one closer to them in their bed. If your kids share a room, add a white noise machine next to each child, close to where they sleep. Another good tool is a fan, like a box fan that you can add to your kids' room. My kids each have white noise and a Vornado fan, and their rooms are so cozy. It's like a little sound bubble in there. It's great. Another great tool is adding a sound machine or a fan into the hallway between your kids' rooms to help drown out any other household noise. If the sound bubble isn't enough, then try staggering bedtimes. Now, bedtime struggles with toddlers are real. They can be a battle. It can get feisty in the evenings, I know. And you've heard me say a billion times about the importance of putting your toddler to bed early. And that's why staggering bedtimes can really be a great tool to use as you're working to streamline that bedtime and learn how to get your toddler down without as much of a battle. Now, how you do this is going to depend on the age of the other kids in your family. But if you have, let's say, a newborn baby or an older sibling, it's likely that their bedtimes are going to be later than your toddler's. So this is actually good. So you try to get your toddler down early. The other kids will be awake for any bedtime drama that ensues. And then after you get your toddler to sleep, that's when you can put your other kids to bed. Now, let's say your good sleeper needs to go to bed before your toddler. So in this case, you're going to stagger bedtime by putting your good sleeper down just a little bit earlier than normal and putting your toddler down maybe a little bit later than is ideal. But the point here is we want to get your good sleeper to be asleep before you put your toddler to bed. Ideally, the good sleeper would be asleep for about 15 or 20 minutes before you try and put your toddler down. And the reason for that is they'll be in a deep sleep at that point and they're less likely to be disturbed. So staggering bedtimes in this way, plus using the sound bubble that I described, should be enough to protect your good sleeper's sleep. So we've talked about building the sound bubble, and we've talked about staggering bedtimes. And the last thing that you can do is you can move your good sleeper to a different location temporarily. Now, if your kids' rooms share a wall and the good sleeper and the bad sleeper their beds are actually next to that wall, it may be as easy as moving your good sleeper to the opposite side of their own room, just farther away from that wall. If that's not enough, or if your kids are sharing a room, you may want to consider moving the good sleeper to a different sleeping location temporarily. A guest room works fine, or you can even move them into your room on the floor with a sleeping bag for a camp out. If you think it's cool, they're going to think it's cool. If you have a baby, you can put them in a pack and play and move them anywhere in the house that's out of earshot. Remember, the process of getting your toddler to fall asleep easily at bedtime and sleep through the night doesn't last forever. It's temporary. It really shouldn't take longer than 2 weeks when you have a plan and you stick to it. So now you have some ways to protect your good sleepers' sleep habits. So don't use siblings as an excuse to let your toddler keep waking up all night. You can fix your toddler's sleep issues and keep your other kids happily sleeping too. Your whole family deserves great sleep. Make sure to subscribe to my channel so you'll be the first to know when my next sleep tip is released.